As the Prime Minister promises to expand the booster rollout, we have been in Little Holton hearing why some people think getting vaccinated is important.
Because I've known people that's died of it and family members have had it, including my little grandson who's just under 2, so.
Baby wipes are to blame for a flood of human waste in an apartment building in Salford. There are over 200 residents living in the building where the broken pump and the rest of the flood will be cleared up today.
And how active are you at this time of year?
It's a shame that that's not bigger, and there'll be lads you'd speak to now in Salford that would say there's nowhere to play, and it's because I've not reached them yet, and that's a shame.
We will take a look at how people in Salford are keeping fit.
Hello and welcome to Salford Now. I'm Stan Tompkinson.
And I'm Charlotte Lineker. If you cannot get a test now, try again later. That was the message that greeted visitors to the government website to book a PCR test today.
For a short while, there were no PCR tests available in England. The UK Health Security Agency sources say that high demand was to blame. But as PCR tests are available once more to the people in Salford and the North West, will the panic over accessing testing encourage more people to get booster vaccines?
Our reporter Courtney Davies visited a vaccine centre in Little Holton following the Prime Minister's commitment to deliver 1 million jabs a day by the end of the month.
I'm here at Little Holton Health Centre in Worsley, where we've seen a steady stream of people coming in and out. People here have been coming in for their first, second and booster vaccinations. However, when speaking to people, there has also been some opposition to the jabs. Boris Johnson announced on Sunday evening that booster jabs are now available to all over 18s. So why are people in Salford getting their jabs?
Because I've known people that's died of it and family members have had it, including my little grandson who's just under 2, so. And yeah, I only didn't have it because I've got a bleeding disorder and I was worried in case anything happened, so. But fingers crossed.
Because of the new one, virus, the Omicron that's starting.
And did you book it before or after Mr Johnson's speech on Sunday?
Booked it today actually, only today.
It's a booster. No, it's for your own benefit, isn't it, really? I know people say it's made up or not as serious, but try to sound that to all the poor people who've lost loved ones. You know what I mean?
I've not had no vaccinations.
And why is that?
Because I believe, in a way, they've not been properly tested, because to make a drug and clinical trials, it at least takes about 10 years, and I feel like they've rushed it.
So I work at the hospital, so I'm very keen to get mine done. I was meant to get it done a month ago, but I ended up having COVID, so I couldn't get it done, so I'm getting it done today.
Courtney Davis, Salford Now.
That was Courtney Davis reporting from Little Holton. Now, there's also been changes to the COVID travel restrictions today.
New Folks has been following the story and joins us in the studio to tell us what the changes will mean to the people in Salford.
So Health Secretary Savage Jared announced that from 4 AM on Wednesday, all 11 countries will be removed off the red travel list. Mr Jared told the House of Commons that due to community transmission, the red list has become less effective. Although travelling to these countries is now permitted, testing will still be in place. Some travel agents believe this is a positive update, but testing is still a concern.
Definitely positive. I think that the less barriers we have, the better. I think obviously the testing on a pre-departure and post-arrival back into the UK is also creating another barrier. And in my opinion, that's actually a bigger barrier. People not wanting to be tested before they come home because of the uncertainty and the worry. That to me is probably going to put more people off than the red list. But as I said, the removal of red list can only be a good thing.
One of the main reasons for travelling at Christmas is seeing family and loved ones. Scott told me he thinks that will mean people travelling to countries that have just been removed off the red list.
What we also have to remember, of course, is that not all travel is about holidays. So particularly in South Africa, there are millions of people in South Africa who have got family here in the UK and vice versa. So South Africa will always remain a strong destination because there's so many people with a personal connection to that country.
Although this can be seen as a positive, there is still a real sense of urgency for travel agents. Many have begun selling a lot more short notice holidays to avoid travel restriction updates that will affect their clients' holidays. Overall, the industry has been hit very hard, and they're concerned for the effect this will have on the staff with the uncertainty around how they make a living.
Travel is massively resilient, massively positive, and we see the industry trying its best to bounce back and keep people positive and getting people flying. But right now, I can tell you every travel agent is up all night, every night ahead of a departure. Have they filled their forms in? Are they going to get there? Are they not going to get back? There will be a mental health time bomb.
So it seems like another tough year for the travel industry. It shows no signs of letting up just yet.
Thank you, Neve. Now, let's find out what else has been happening in Salford.
The bus company National Express has agreed to take over their rival Stagecoach for £1.9 billion. The deal will bring together Stagecoach, which is Greater Manchester's main bus operator, and National Express, which also has a major base in Salford.
A woman from Salford who suffered bruising on the brain after fainting was told she would have to wait 4 hours for an ambulance. Derna Fakira was transferred over to Salford's neurological unit and is now at home with her newborn baby.
Government funding of £120 million is available to help eligible people, businesses and organisations within Greater Manchester switch to cleaner vehicles that are compliant with new regulations. It comes as the Clean Air Zone will be introduced in the region from May next year.
It's usually a glamorous TV set for a hit Netflix series, but some residents at the Adelphi Wharf apartments in Salford woke up to something a world away from that. Our reporter Fergus Adderley was at the apartments earlier today.
I'm here at the Adelphi Wharf complex, just next to Peel Park there, where over the weekend residents smelled a very disturbing smell of sewage coming from the car park. Now, it's just come from the lower car park just behind me there, where I went inside early this morning, and it seems that most of it had been cleaned up over the weekend. However, there were small patches in the corner under some cars that smell an awful lot like urine. Now, let's take a look at some of the clips here. So, as you can see there, not all of the sewage had fully been cleaned up. There was a lot of patches, still a lot of puddles that had a very, very strong scent of urine to them. Now, we were chatting to someone as they were just driving out just a minute ago, and we asked them if all of the sewage had been cleaned up down there, and he said everywhere but where my car is, and it seemed that there was a very strong scent coming from under his car, unfortunately. Now, this all occurred over the weekend from Storm Barrow that happened, and it took a lot of the country by storm, and it didn't really hit Manchester as hard as we thought, or Salford, I should say. However, it seemed that it then led to these car parks here. There's 3 complex buildings, and the car park that goes underneath the storm actually took out one of the pumps, which meant that the pump was operating at half power over the weekend. So they had people down to clean up down there just over the last few days, and now later today someone is going to be coming to clean up the rest of the sewage and fix the pump that was broken. Now, we've got a quote from the agency. Let's take a look at that.
The water and sewage system are pumped off-site via 2 pumps located in chambers. During the heavy rains caused by the storm, one of the pumps failed due to a blockage, meaning the system was only at half power. Multiple contractors have been on-site and are due back on the 14th of December, which was this morning, to repair the pump and get the pump back to full power. And a tanker came on site on the Friday, the 10th of December, to remove the water. However, more water has returned over the weekend.
So the residents are hoping that this will all be cleaned up over the next few days. So it was cleaned up just over the weekend, reoccurred just today and yesterday. It wasn't a high level of sewage and water, but your car's in there. You've got to walk through there to get to your car. So I don't think the residents were very happy at the result and the state of this car park. So hopefully they get it sorted as soon as they can. Back to you guys in the studio.
A recent report by Sport England has found that almost 30% of people in Salford only get 1/5 of their recommended amount of exercise. I went to find out what people in Salford are doing to try and make their city more active.
How physically active are the people of Salford? Well, they may not be as lively as you'd imagine. A recent report by Sport England has said that almost 30% of Salford residents are active for less than 30 minutes a week. 5 times less than the recommended amount. Salford has also seen a decrease of around 11,000 moving adults in the past year, and many sports clubs such as park run and leisure leagues are trying to tackle these worrying figures and make Salford more active.
For example, a 10-team league is likely to have 70, 80 people turn up in one night. So, yeah, it's good. And I've got 30 teams now across 3 leagues, so it's proven quite popular, luckily.
It's not just activity levels that are of concern in Salford, with 3 in 5 adults being classed as overweight or obese. However, it's not all bad news, as the same report has also highlighted that almost 60% of adults were highly active, a number that, as seen firsthand by parkrun and leisure leagues, is growing.
It's reasonable to actually encourage people, advertise things like parkrun and all the rest of it. And also I think getting people out on bikes. I'm a cyclist during the week, and so I see quite a few people cycling to work, and we have a steady bunch of regulars here in parkrun. And there's no real competition to it. The competition is against yourself, so everybody is just sort of like happy to be here. It's like a big happy family. And I know that sounds like a cliche, but you've probably seen how many people have been smiling in the park today. So.
Having an active lifestyle can reduce your risk of a heart attack and lower your blood pressure, to name but a few benefits. But how accessible is it? Well, here at Peel Park, Parkrun takes place every Saturday morning at 9 AM and is free and open to everyone.
We have kids under 10, as long as they run with an adult. We had a lady in a wheelchair do our course today, so it's completely accessible. There are courses around the country where they will have somebody who can deal with the deaf, so we can do the briefings for the deaf. We don't have that here, but it is completely open for everybody. We don't discriminate against age, ability, anything.
When I first started running, I just only had these. I only had my shorts and a t-shirt and some trainers that were like only 35 quid. So like, it's very cheap.
The social element which sporting activities like small-sided football can provide can also have serious mental health benefits, which have become especially important after the past few years.
Being locked away for a long time, it did kind of affect people socially. And I've had mates who kind of quietened down over that time. And then when football kind of came back, and I pushed them in, they were maybe a bit hesitant at first. When I pushed them into playing, I have seen them get back to kind of the person I recognised, and obviously that's really good. So
while the report has given the city a worrying reminder, there is also hope that next year's results will show a much more active Salford.
What an interesting story and a fun way to exercise. How was it like being there in the atmosphere?
Well, it was actually a very positive atmosphere, even though it was only 9 AM on a Saturday morning. There was quite a few people there. It was a hangover cure, surprisingly. About 200 people turned out, and people from all abilities. So, as you saw in the package, there was people who were going for their personal bests for the 5K. There was people walking. There was someone in a wheelchair, and there was someone pushing their kids around in a pram. It was a lovely morning.
Fantastic. I think my favourite bit was seeing that man with the pram. What a great way to get exercise.
It was brilliant, wasn't it? So let's get a reminder of today's top story. The UK Health Security Agency sources say that a high demand was to blame for the temporary shortage in PCR tests in England, including in Salford.
To keep up to date with what's going on in your local community, visit our website and social media at Salford Now.
That's all for today. Goodbye.